Hello, and welcome to the WWIA Podcast. We're honored to have you join us in our mission to bring honor, connection, and healing to America's combat wounded Purple Heart heroes. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, we welcome you. If you're a returning listener, thanks for coming back. Please be sure to tell others about our podcast and leave us a review if you're enjoying what you're hearing. Our mission would not be possible without the tremendous support and generosity from so many selfless patriots across North America who go above and beyond to honor the service and sacrifices of America's combat wounded veterans. Today's guest on the WWIA podcast is one of these special patriots who's proven time and time again that there is truly no limit to the good works that can be accomplished, nor the contributions and impacts that can be made when people work together for a common cause. WWIA Founder and CEO John McDaniel proudly welcomes longtime WWIA supporter and valued friend Mr. Mike Davenport to the program. Mike is the president of the WWIAF Southern Vermont Chapter alongside his wife Debi, who serves as treasurer. Mike and Debi both recently retired after having had wonderful careers with UNICORR in Bennington, Vermont, and they've also relocated to warmer weather, having made the move to the beautiful state of Tennessee. The WWIA Southern Vermont Chapter is a two-time WWIA Medal of Honor decorated patron, having raised over $559,000 in support of our Purple Heart heroes since 2013. That is just incredible. John and Mike discuss the early origins of this remarkable fundraising juggernaut and how the local residents and businesses of Bennington, Vermont come together year after year in support of the mission of WWIA. There's a lot to unpack in this episode, and we're excited to introduce you to Mike and his story. So without further delay, let's join John and Mike now.
Hi, I'm John McDaniel, founder and CEO of the Wounded Warriors in Action Foundation, and this is our podcast, Honor, Connect, and Heal. So today I have with me a treasured friend and a great person who's helped the foundation and our heroes as much as anybody, if not more, in the past, 13, 14 years, something like that,
yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, 13 years. 13
years. So to the welcome to the program, Mike Davenport out of Vermont.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, it's good to see you. We've been planning this one for several years and are finally now getting around to do it. Mike came into town the other day. We're here in the office at the WWIA headquarters, and we're just chatting about lots of stuff for the future. But Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about how this whole thing, the relationship with the WWIA began, dating back, whatever it is, 14 years from now.
Yeah. So it was, the year was 2013. My employer at the time, I was working for UNICORR Packaging Group, and they asked each of our facilities, there was 5 of us, to take a $2,500 seed and turn it into something good, whether it be for a veterans organization or something in the community, and it was a competition. They wanted to see who could do the most with that amount of money. And so
$2,500 came from the company UNICORR.
Correct. Yeah.
To how many groups?
There was 5 of us.
5 of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And part of the criteria was they wanted as close to 100% participation by the employees as you could muster up. So, I mean, and that's quite challenging when you think about, what group are you going to target, who you're going to raise the money for, because everybody has their own ideas. So within the community of Bennington, it's a big hunting and fishing environment. And I happened to be watching a program on TV one weekend, and it was a program of the Wounded Warriors in Action.
Nosler's Magnum TV.
That was the show.
Yeah,
correct.
That's right.
And I was like, well, that's it. I mean, I know I can get most of my employees behind this. So I brought the idea into the plant, and I spoke to all of my employees and said, this is what we're going to do. They have gave us a total of $2,500, and we got to turn that into much more.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna send all the proceeds to the Wounded Warriors in Action.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out and I purchased a UTV I financed it myself, knowing that would drive me to sell tickets to pay it back.
Right.
And my wife, Debi, and I spent that whole summer of 2013 just, going to car shows and gun shows and swap meets and wherever we could get the exposure to sell tickets and hand out brochures of the organization and what they do and just get it out in the world, in our world.
Yeah.
And at the end of the summer, we decided we're going to have a banquet dinner. We're going to have an auction. We're going to raffle off guns. We're going to do all these things. But one of the key components was we wanted you, John, to come to the event. We thought it would make it special. And after much convincing, we finally coerced John to come to Bennington. And the rest was history after that. We turned $2,500 into, I want to say it was 23,000, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's the number.
And it was a great time. And then it turned into something much larger after that. We won the competition, I should say. And then you invited me to go to the MoCan event.
That's right.
That same year.
You met Brian.
And I met Brian Roderick, and you thought it would be a good thing to, expose me to the other side of.
So you could see the ground tactical piece,
correct,
if you will.
Correct. And after that, I was hooked. I was like, I can't be once and done with this.
Yeah.
That you and I spoke, and we did all the proper work to become a legitimate chapter in the state of Vermont, because I thought that it would be better to, if I was going to be out there asking for people to give us money, I didn't want them giving it to Mike Davenport.
Yeah.
If they wanted to write a check, and I wanted it to filter through me so that so Bennington would be getting the credit for the funds that were collected. So that's when you and I decided, okay, let's make this a legitimate chapter. Yeah. So which we did. So now we're going to fast forward to this year will be I believe our 13th banquet dinner that we hold every September. And it'll be our 13th one in 14 years.
Yeah. And
it's just been an incredible ride. I can't even, it's hard for me to even explain to you the support in that community. And you've been there every year. You've come every year. You see it. It's, you can't even put words to it.
Yeah. Well, this year, last year rather, in 2024, we were, tabulating all of the proceeds that are credited to your magnificent effort, you and your family's magnificent effort, and your community's magnificent effort. I was like, holy smokes. I mean, you are the first entity, the first individual, period dot that ever broke the $500,000 mark. So we put you in this, I was sitting here thinking to myself, well, what could we possibly do? I just couldn't believe it. And so what we ended up doing was creating the 500K club.
Right.
And you're now there's one other one in there that just has achieved that. Brian, of course. Now you two have been battling it out for for years.
Well, that's good company.
Yeah, that's good
company.
Yes, very good company. And the two 500-pound gorillas, right?
Right.
But yeah, so it's really amazing, and what a great community. You have all kinds of sponsors, and you walk into that room and you you've held it at several different venues, but the one that we're kind of on now is the Elks Club there, and you walk into the Elks Club in Bennington, Vermont, and you see, how many tables you got there, you reckon?
We try to keep it around 20.
Yeah.
20 tables.
So 20 tables, and these are sponsors.
Most of them are sponsors,
that have said, hey, I want a sponsor. So they buy in a sponsorship that gets them a table for their company or corporation.
Well, what it does, a sponsorship, there's different levels. So a typical sponsor is like $1,000. And what that does is that'll get the sponsor 2 seats at the table.
Okay.
They typically will buy the other 6 seats for employees or friends or whatever.
Okay.
And out of that sponsorship, they'll get a sign put up in the room with their company logo on it.
Professionally made.
Professionally made.
Looks
yes.
beautiful.
And then we give them the swag bag, and because different levels of sponsorship they get, it'll depend on what they get for swag. But then what you and I came up with early on was let's do something a little more for them. Mm-hmm. So anybody that sponsors $1,000 and up, for every $1,000 you sponsor, you get put into a drawing to do this weekend getaway down here in Tampa with you and I doing inshore fishing.
That's right.
And that's turned into a pretty good draw.
Yeah.
People really like that.
Yeah. So do I. I mean, you and I both like it because it's cool. You know, you usually a couple comes down, and you and Debi come down, and then there's me, and we go offshore fishing or inshore fishing. Always somewhere. Now we're down in Punta Gorda at the Fisherman's Village. We like that an awful lot. We've been here in Tampa. Fish in Tampa Bay, but it's wonderful. It gives us a chance to get to know one of your valuable sponsors and let our hair down a little bit and enjoy the sort of the fruits of our labor. But it's a wonderful time. And if you could just picture walking into this Elks Club, which just just the ambiance, it just reeks of history. And it's just a wonderful club to begin with. But when you get in there and you see all these tables that have got purple cloths on them, and there's always, a headpiece to each table. And I mean, you guys decorate it phenomenal. There's all kinds of raffle items, wrapping around the room. And then there's a live auction component, and you're raffling, off firearms and all kinds of cool stuff from the community. And it's a wonderful evening, and I'm just blown away every year by what your community is able to do and what you've accomplished. It's just and our promise to your community is that 100% of the resource that's generated that evening goes to directly support our mission set, and that's putting combat wounded Purple Heart recipients in the woodline or in the waterway on one of our missions. And several of our missions are underfunded. There are missions that we, love dearly, but they don't have a funding stream or a funding component to them, or very little funding. And we just say, we got your back, and we couldn't do that. There's no way we could have done that throughout these years without that support. So, I want to personally thank you, your family, of course, your bride, Debi, and that amazing community of support, because it has helped, change a lot of lives, and in maybe some cases saved lives. But that resource is very, very valuable to us, because this is an expensive business. I mean, you go on a lot of guided hunts. If you were to say, hey, you were going to take 4 guys or 5 guys from 5 different locations across the country, bring them together to one location to do a 3-day hunting or fishing excursion, depending on what you decided to do, I mean, I guarantee you would have a very, very hard time doing that for under $20,000 today.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
no,
you do it all the time.
Yeah.
But it depends on what you want to go do.
Yeah. I mean, conservatively, you're going to drop $5,000 a person easy.
Easy.
And that's just for the hunt. That's not getting there. And,
right. That's not the plane ticket,
Right.
And so we're able to do this because a lot of wonderful people are, the lodging is taken care of.
Right.
The food is taken care of, or we reimburse for the food. So, it's expensive business. We've done a really good job. I think the foundation have of leveraging a lot of in-kind support that makes this happen. But there's a lot of things that, it takes the almighty dollar to actually purchase. And we're just very grateful for what you guys have accomplished. It's nothing short of, spectacular. And your whole family's working this thing.
Yeah. My stepdaughter, Jessica, she's deeply involved. She's
a sweetheart.
She's a go-getter. She never, there's no grass growing under her.
No, that girl is getting it from day one and all in.
Yeah, all in.
Your whole family's just all in on this. Is all business.
As we creep closer to the event, it's many hours leading up. The week prior to the event, there's hardly any sleep. It's just gathering everything together, making sure, we have everything set. And then the setup, we have volunteers during the event
Yeah.
And we do have volunteers during the setup, but throughout the year, it's just mainly the three of us.
Yeah.
My wife, Debi, Jessica, and myself. And then that weekend, the Friday before the event, we have, maybe a half a dozen people come in to help us.
Mm-hmm.
And then that night, and there's 220 guests seated at this thing.
Yeah.
And before we leave the Elks Lodge at night, it's all torn down, cleaned up, and we go home.
That's right.
And it's like it never even happened.
Exactly right.
So that's where a lot of the work is when it's go time.
Taking the gourds off the table and cleaning up after people.
After 220 something people in there.
I know.
And there's a lot of brown water that goes around.
There's the some of the brown water. Yeah, it's flowing. Yeah, it's incredible. So I wanted to share with everybody a couple of things, because you and I have been around the block a few times, and we actually went up to British Columbia and hunted lynx. We'll get back to that in a minute. I'd like to save that lynx story maybe to close with, because we were up there in British Columbia with Doug McMahon and his bride Julie, chasing lynx all over British Columbia. That was I know you've got a story or two to tell there. But here you and Debi just retired from your you worked at UNICORR for what?
I was there for a total of 40 years.
40 years.
Debi was there 30.
Yeah. So you guys have both retired now, and you moved out of Bennington. You relocated down in Tennessee. But you've got roots and family back there in Vermont, and you're not giving up on Vermont. Oh, no. That banquet's got what we would refer to as irreversible momentum. You're going back multiple times to help facilitate all the things that have to happen. Getting the products and the firearms and the raffle things straight and pumping it up so folks have it in the forefront of their mind. That you're not giving up on Vermont. If anything, it's getting stronger, but you physically relocated to Tennessee. And you and I, you're down here today and you were down here yesterday. And we've been talking about, how we're going to leverage now some of this extra time that you might have, right. As supporting the foundation. And we think we're hitting on a few things that are going to be great. So we are really excited to welcome you further into the team and help us explore some space in a region that we don't have a lot of activity right now. You're not too far from Nashville, right?
Right.
Not too far from Fort Campbell,
right?
And we've got some ideas, and that's what we've been doing is kicking around a few ideas and how we can continue to expand and grow and strengthen the Vermont effort, and maybe a few other things.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Nashville is a huge market.
Yeah.
It's an animal. I mean, it's going to take some time to navigate that animal.
Mm-hmm.
Bennington, Vermont is not going to change. I mean, that's my heart and soul.
Yeah.
That's where it all started. I don't want anybody to ever think because we moved to Tennessee that's going to diminish, because it won't. We're just leaning on more people, boots on the ground, where we're not doing everything anymore.
Yeah.
Still going to be facilitated by my wife and I.
Mm-hmm.
But I have full faith in the family members that are left back up there to carry the torch while we're not there. But I don't think anybody will see the difference.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to expanding what we do.
Yeah.
And get into the Tennessee area, or, working up at Fort Campbell. I think there's a lot of opportunity.
Yep.
And now that I have the time to put into it, I think that we can do good things.
Yeah. Well, you're a sportsman yourself, so you're part of the attraction, I'm sure, was the fact that you're a sportsman. I think your house looks like looks like a Fred Bear museum inside of it. You know, you got a lot
some
of,
might say that.
Yeah, a lot of stuffed mounts and
I don't know
like
if I
this.
rank up there with Fred Bear. But.
Okay, you've got some stuff.
I have some stuff. That's correct.
You're a firearm aficionado. Would you say that?
Yeah, I can. You
just
can say
ate
that.
up from the ground up with firearms.
Yeah,
Love
that's
it.
true.
Yeah,
some say it's an addiction.
Yeah. And so, you know, I gotta ask you on the topic. You know, you've done a lot of hunts. Everything from alligator, you know, in the swamps down here to the lynx, and big cats up in British Columbia. But would you share with us a little bit your, our adventures up there in British Columbia?
I will. So for my 50th birthday, my wife decided to purchase this hunt in British Columbia to hunt a lynx. And she reached out to you. Mm-hmm. And between the two of you set this whole thing up and you decided you wanted to tag along for a few days.
Yeah.
So that we could, because we never really have time to just do what friends do.
That's right.
You know, it's always business when we're together. Mm-hmm. So we met, I think we met each other in Seattle.
Yeah.
And then we linked together there and we traversed into the lodge, which that was an adventure all on its own.
Just
because
getting there,
if you remember, there was weather
and
we couldn't land.
And weather getting out too.
That's right. So when we finally made it to the lodge, we settled in and got geared up for the hunt. What I didn't realize is the terrain.
It's tough.
You know, the elevation was
one thing.
That was one thing.
The terrain is something else.
You know, the black spruce blowdowns and
you're going to earn it up there.
It was a little more of a workout than I anticipated.
Yeah.
I had a great time. I still cherish the picture of you and I on the side of one of these mountains halfway up it, pulling our socks out of our mouth as we're climbing this thing.
Yeah, well, I remember stopping and just taking a little bit of a break and going, I got to capture this I need a selfie here.
Yeah, it was one of my more memorable hunts for sure.
Yeah.
I did harvest a good mature lynx.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Which was, I was very thankful to get it done.
Yeah.
Because it was probably, without a doubt, one of the hardest hunts I've ever done.
Yeah.
For one of the smallest animals I've ever hunted.
Right.
Quite honestly. But the memories that I said this to you over dinner last night.
Yeah.
I sit there and I look at these trophies and it's like I'm back to every one of them adventures.
Yeah.
It's my memory isn't as good as it used to be, but when I look at the taxidermy, and that's what it's all about. You relive the whole hunt.
Yeah.
It was a fun time for sure.
Yeah. And Doug and Julie up there, Skinner Creek, just wonderful, wonderful guides and hosts and, just making memories every day. And we certainly shared one. And I remember thinking to myself, well, of course, I've got that, we're all very busy people, but, is your birthday gift from your wife, Debi. And I just thought to myself, well, sometimes the best memories occur, when you have that one-on-one experience with a guide.
Right.
And I just know how that is. I respect so much that only you and he are going to have that memory. And I kind of felt like maybe I was a third wheel, and I just didn't want to impact in any way negatively that experience. I like to solo hunt, myself personally, but I also have been with, a few guides in my day too. And I just know how special, that is. You're going to have that memory with only one other person, and you're going to share that with, many people from there forward. But and I was so happy when you sent me that picture of your lynx. Ultimately, that it just warmed my heart, and I was very proud and happy to help Debi plan it. And that's no small effort.
No, and you were. as you know, we spent 2 days, you and I spent 2 days chasing these things around.
Oh, yeah.
And never even got a visual on it.
Never. No, lots of good sign, fresh tracks.
Yeah.
But that country,
it's very unforgiving, that country.
It is. The sign ought to say, as soon as you enter British Columbia, it ought to say, not for the weak nor faint of heart.
Right.
And they're serious about it. Yeah, that's high country up there. But yeah, so it's pretty neat. And then you and I fished, together and had lots of fun on our adventures here in Florida, and our relationship just keeps getting stronger and better. And it's great to have you on the program. I did want to ask you something. Hey, business is about the successful, repeatable process, right? So once you got a process that's working, it's profitable in business, or working, in this case, we are a business, it's just not for profit. And we help, our clients who happen to be combat wounded Purple Heart recipients. But, it's run like a business because it has to be. Your business there in Bennington, I mean, if you had to put your finger, I'm putting you on the spot here, buddy. We didn't rehearse any of this, but, if you had to put your finger on one thing, that has led to your success, a piece of advice that you might give to, we have 42 hosts out there, all of whom are, most all of whom are, doing some sort of fundraising activity which enables these missions to happen, and serving over 200 combat wounded annually. In 42 missions across 30-some states. It's expensive business. But what would you, if you had to put your finger on one thing that has helped you be or made you successful in your enterprise there in Vermont, in Bennington, with your fundraising activity for that banquet, what is it?
One thing.
Yeah.
I would have to say that the sponsorship program that funds our event, showing the appreciation back to the sponsors, and in a way where they feel special, not as a group, but individually, by putting a sign up in the room. A lot of my sponsors will come to me and say, I can't believe the amount of phone calls I got for jobs that need to be done. It could be a plumber, a carpenter, because somebody saw my sign in your room.
As a result of the banquet.
As a result of the banquet. We had, I think, 38 or 39 sponsors at our last event. Mm-hmm. And, there's some that can't sponsor every year. There's some that come back. There's new ones every year. And I believe the success is because you've been there for every one of them. There are people that come year after year. I fill probably 2/3 of the room with the same people every year. Mm-hmm. Now, after 13 years, there's a lot to be said there.
Oh, yeah.
We're there fundraising. So it's not like people are just coming there sitting on their hands.
Right.
So to have people that want to come every year for the past 13 years, they have to feel pretty warm inside. For doing it.
There has to be some value there too, value on a lot of levels. Like, okay, you're supporting a worthy cause. They wouldn't be there if that wasn't the case.
Correct.
But you go above and beyond, and we here, when I talk about entering into a relationship with another business or entity, because we do get approached on things, and sometimes it's a no thank you.
Right.
I don't want to say a lot of the times it's a no thank you, but we're very careful with whom we do business. And when we say do business, what are we doing? And so I developed this idea of the triple win several years ago. And I said, okay, so in order for me to say yes to entering into a relationship with another enterprise or entity, 3 things have to happen. One, the heroes that we serve have to win, and I could talk about that for days. But that's one leg of that stool. The other is that the foundation has to win, and I could talk about that leg of the stool. But the third leg, and I put it on the table every time, is that I say you, that you, the contributing supporter, have to win.
Right.
And I want you to win. And we're going to be good partners, I promise you. But I know that you're in this. I know you're doing it for philanthropic reasons, and I acknowledge that, and thank you. But also, you're a business, and we're going to make sure that you get recognized. Now, you're doing that. You take that idea of the triple win, and you're the one that's actuating that at the community level, and you're making sure that these people are winning,
right?
And by taking care of them, by acknowledging their business, by treating them special, they're your sponsors,
right?
And that's really phenomenal. You guys do better at that than anybody I've ever seen. It's amazing what you do, the value you create for your sponsors and everybody who attends. That is a high quality, wonderful event. Every day every year there's a line snaking out that door. I know I'm there watching it, chatting with people, but they're all, dying to get in that door and get at it, Yeah, it's amazing.
It is amazing. I talk to the people that work at the Elks Lodge, and they look forward to it every year because it's like the largest event.
Yeah.
They hold weddings up there, receptions, and there's a lot of people, but not for a nonprofit fundraising effort.
Right.
To see the line of cars parked on the street because the parking lot's full.
That's right.
And the people are a block away in line trying to get in.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it shows no signs of slowing.
No.
I mean, it's just crazy to me, the support after 13 years, and it hasn't diminished at all.
Now, Bennington has also recently been named a Purple Heart town or city.
Town, yes.
Town, Purple Heart town.
Purple Heart town.
Yeah. So when I was I fly in usually to Rochester, and drive the rest of the way. I think it's Rochester.
Albany.
I take it back. Albany. Thank you. I fly into Albany and then I drive. But I remember this last year, 24. On that drive, I saw the Purple Heart sign. It warmed my heart.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's and I've made a lot of friends. Your network is open to me, and that's an amazing thing. I've made a lot of friends and really enjoyed all the couples that we've met and spent time with, and broken bread and caught fish, and when they come down here, and of course I see them when I go back to the banquet every year, and there's just a lot of value there, and I think that's the best way that it could be described. But it starts with this. Okay, that's the other thing. I started this conversation by saying business is mostly about the successful, repeatable process. Well, it assumes, of course, that statement that you've found success.
Right.
You got a formula that works.
Right.
You're cranking out a widget that's functional, that people want.
Everybody
demonstrated
wants it.
Demand for that widget.
That's right.
And then you just got to repeat that, and you got to sell your widget, where you can make profit. I mean, that's what business is about.
That's right.
Or you can't be in business, or won't be in business long if you're not making a profit. So, this is a nonprofit. We're not talking about profiting here, but we're talking about defining the successful, process. What is it? And I've given this thought for years about, I'm like, how in the world could I replicate in other parts of the country what Mike and Debi are doing? And I have given that a lot of thought. And finally I settled on it. I'm like, listen, it certainly could be done. But what it starts with is high quality people like you and your family that are connected to a community, and I say this at guide school, and I say it a lot. People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. There is no way in the world you could pull off what you're pulling off there if people didn't like you, if people didn't know you, and people didn't trust you. That's your hometown.
You're right. That's absolutely right.
And they know Mike.
Yep.
They know everything about Mike.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they trust you.
Well, the majority of the sponsors are close friends.
Exactly.
They're business owners, and you're right. I mean, there's a huge amount of trust there.
Yeah.
And we try to be as transparent as humanly possible with everything. And again, when you come up for the event every year, that also helps solidify, this is why we're doing it. Here's the man himself.
Yeah.
But again, I'll say it again, every year I mean, you see the same faces. It's just incredible to me that we can continually bring the same sponsors back year on year. I mean, obviously we lose a couple every now and again for whatever reason, but then we might get them back. But it's, I told you last night over dinner that, there was a lot of concern about us moving to Tennessee. The community was, all of these sponsors are coming to me and like, what's going to happen? It's like, well, nothing's going to happen. We're still going to have the event. It's going to be like any other year. It's just, we're going to move to a little warmer climate during the winter. Right. So, that makes me feel good that that's what people are thinking about, is the function still going to happen?
I just got a smile on my face because, flashing through the years and sitting at the, one of your beautiful tables there, watching this whole thing unfold. I love the live auction, I mean, that's just so much fun to be. I look forward to that more than anything. And I usually try to bring a cool item or two that I've personally secured somehow. And so, this year for 2025, tipping my hand a little bit, I had Trent McCall, who's a good friend of mine that also runs an event for the Foundation of Turkey Hunt. And he's a craftsman, and he created a 1-of-1 turkey call for the Vermont chapter. And it's gorgeous. I mean, it's a box call, and I'm not going to say much more than that, but that's one of them. And the other one is we got a relationship building with Peach Hour Cues. And these are some of the finest pool cues made in the planet, and they're made out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And they're doing a special series. I think they made 50 of them, and we got a couple of them that, and they're all numbered, and they're made with purple heartwood, and they just will blow you away. And so, I'm bringing one of those with me. So there's always something super cool. And of course, all your sponsors are bringing their wares. I mean, it's everything from, chairs to fine firearms to, model, kit airplanes. I mean, you name it. There's it's there. And, we try to always bring new things to this banquet so people have, an experience and get exposed to something they otherwise never would be, and all in the name of a good cause and, in charity, in this case, the Wounded Warriors in Action. It's really an amazing thing that you and your team and community have done. And I just can't thank you enough, Mike.
I appreciate that, John. Thank you.
It really is amazing what people can do when they put their hearts and minds, into something. So it's really great. Well, listen, I always like to give the last shot, the last whack at the piñata to my guest, and you are certainly a super host. Is there anything, Mike, that you'd like to share with us or talk about before we close the program?
No, John, I think we pretty much touched on everything.
Okay.
I just I just want the folks back in the community of Bennington to be reassured.
Yeah.
That, things are as normal as they'll ever be.
Yep.
Maybe even better. Maybe
right.
even better. Who knows?
Yeah. Wow.
This is a whole new adventure for me down in the mid part of the country. And maybe we can bring something new up to Bennington.
Yeah. How hard is it going to be for you to take your foot off the gas pedal? That's going to be the hard part.
Who said I'd take my foot off the gas pedal?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Well,
I don't think we discussed that.
No, we didn't. But Mike, I think Debi ought to step in there and help you out with that a little bit. But
she might have something other to say about that.
You are one motivated individual, and you are a results-oriented man, and I can appreciate and respect that a great deal. I mean, you do not need any motivation. You're the kind of guy that doesn't need, much guidance, just a little bit of intent and purpose, and then you're just off and running. I mean, you're one of those guys that, you just gotta give a lot of lead and a lot of open terrain. Just give them the football, and you've done phenomenal for us. And the countless numbers of heroes that, you guys have, whose lives you've affected. And, it's great because it takes a lot of pressure off some of these events that don't have any funding streams. And, it's just remarkable. And I want to, publicly thank you again.
Thank you, Jen.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right. Everybody, we hope you have a great day, and thanks for tuning into the podcast.
Thank you for listening to the WWIA Podcast. To learn more about the Wounded Warriors in Action Foundation and how you can get involved, please visit our website at WWIAF.org or follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you'd like to comment or offer feedback about our podcast, or if you have a suggestion for a future episode, please email us at podcast@WWIAF.org. Thank you for your support and for helping us honor, connect, and heal our combat wounded Purple Heart heroes through the power of the great outdoors.